You're building the next big thing. But before you can model the world, you need to see it from every angle. Shutterstock's massive content library has the content and data you need to train computer vision models. Whether you need 1,000 different angles of red chairs or red high heels, maybe you're looking for 100,000 images of a red car. We've got you covered. With millions of assets and 1 million more added every week by contributors from around the world. Plus, every asset is tagged with up to 50 labels, all reviewed by both artificial intelligence and human intelligence to ensure complete accuracy, so you can build faster with precision. Power your computer vision models with Shutterstock. Get started today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here today. We are very honored to be the sponsor of this track. And today we're going to talk about computer vision by taking a broad approach and discussing how we are playing in computer vision, but also where this community is going. So I'd like to start with where we are going, a little bit of a takeaway from this talk. So we are at the age of an important shift in computer vision. And this shift is going to change the way we approach this field in the next few years. I'm going to argue that there are 3 key pillars that are fueling this change in the way we think about computer vision from a technical perspective, but also from a philosophical perspective, and on top of that, a shift for an inclusive understanding of how regulation will play in this field. But before we really touch on those 3 key points, I'd like to take a step back and really discuss where we are in computer vision today. We know that it's not a new field. We started computer vision in 1960, where the pioneers, researchers, were thinking how to build a system that could simulate our visual system. And the original idea was we need to create robots that are able to have intelligent behavior and navigate in the space and understanding what's around us. Where have we brought computer vision today? So I think you agree with me that computer vision is pretty much everywhere. Many industries are already using it. Many other industries are going to use it. And it's dramatically changed the way we shop, the way we work, the way we drive. So at Shutterstock, we come to computer vision. And computer vision is not new in our industry. We have been using computer vision to fuel some of the system that we have at Shutterstock. For example, our review process, understanding the quality of an image or a video, understanding the quality of the label and how we describe those images is a joint collaboration between our AI and our human reviewers. But it's more than that. Computer vision is used to fuel e-commerce experiences. Shutterstock has 400 million images. If I was spending 1 second on each image, it will take me 11.5 years to go through the catalog. Obviously, a human person cannot afford that. Only AI can get us access to the content that we need, to the style that we need, to the emotion that we want to trigger in a split of a second. And that's how we power our e-commerce experience. As I said, computer vision is not new, but we are experts of visual content and creative process. And those are 2 unique aspects that we bring to computer vision. 400 million images. We have music too. We have 3D object creation. We have text. Each of those assets has a rich set of metadata that can be used to train and power computer vision models. So we recently launched Shutterstock AI, and we are extremely proud of the move that we made in this space. Buying some startup in the space, amazing contribution for this innovating and tech ecosystem. Shutterstock AI has data and insight at the core of its mission. It's bringing computer vision as one of the key pillars of using AI within our industry, but much more. As I said, it's not only how we use AI. Companies come to us because we have a unique set of content. And you know that if you do computer vision and you want to train your model, you need to have access to a lot of data. Some data are really difficult to come by, and most importantly, good labels on those data are even more difficult. For example, you can find many images on cars, but there are few landmarks in the world, like the Eiffel Tower, and the quality in which you can see and you can visualize and you can describe. Or medical images are very different from general images. Or even device company that are trying to customize their camera device to capture wild animals in the open. So let me go back to where I started. Now that we understand why we are playing in computer vision, why we have content that can fuel this industry to the next level, let's go back to what I said. Something is actually dramatically changing. And let's start to understand a fundamental change that I call breaking the categorical thinking. So in computer vision, what we generally do, we collect a lot of images of car, of animals, and so on, and we have those labeled for all those categories, and we train our model to recognize within those categories. Open source, I come from the scientific community. I've been 10 years in research. In the scientific community, there are quite amazing models that are able to recognize around 100 categories. Some very good commercial models are able to recognize up to 2,000 categories. But do you know how many concepts there are in Wikipedia? 8 million. So we have a little bit of a way to go in order to really be able to understand the world as we do as humans. But it's not about only how many things we can recognize. Can we predict what is about to happen? New concepts come every day. The world is dynamic. We are dynamic. We change the language. We change the way we communicate. We change the way we express each other. So how do we predict those changes when we start and think in categories? So I want to make a reference to Robert Sapolsky. He's a professor in Stanford. Beside he is a pioneer in his field, he has something that resonates very much with us in our own field. And this idea, the categorical thinking, it's very dangerous because when you put a line between two concepts, you never understand how similar those two concepts could be. And when you have only fixed category, you are not seeing everything else that you have not accounted for within your category. One example is color. For people that do computer vision, we know about color. Color is a spectrum. Color is not a sequence of labels. And you know that there are shades of blue and shades of green that can be so close to each other and so closer than two different shades of green. But because we have the label, that's green and that's blue, so those two things seems to be much more distant than what they are in reality. So technology is coming to us. So as a research community, we are evolving as well. And we are continuing to develop models that are starting to move from supervised learning in those little boxes towards self-supervised learning. Let the system explore, let the system learn how we do naturally from the context, from everything that we can see. And I've seen that there is a talk later today from Cameron Airbus, and he's going to talk about self-supervised learning even further. So I believe this is a field that will only grow in the future. Now that we have understood why we need to bring computer vision to a next level, is it enough? Is that enough to get us where we need to be? We have seen that when computer vision wasn't really designed by taking different perspective in mind, something went really wrong. An industry worth 3 billion was put on hold because diversity wasn't taken into account. Black faces were not recognized. So why those things happen? Why those things is important? Because they are infringing human rights, because they are creating possible legal consequences for company, and for sure, a lot of economical one. So we at Shutterstock are taking a different approach. We have 1.7 million contributors for everywhere in the world. They see the world based on their culture. They see the world based on their experience. They provide content that represent reality above and beyond 3 white people in a lab that think that they got it. So we care about capturing culture, capturing color that define who we are, our religion, our difference, our diversity. But this is not enough. Content and how we source content is the first step. The next step is who are the people that are building those computer vision models? That's my latest theme. Diversity is possible. We need to have people from every culture, for different background, helping and challenging the way we design those models, the assumption that we take, because computer vision is a solution that stands on the assumption of few people that have designed that model. And even further, context matter. If I use the same search, but in 2 different contexts, it looks very different. So our models need also to understand where they are applied, because if Pfizer is looking for food, they may use some images. If we have an industrial player looking for food-related images, they are going to look for different images because they are speaking to a different audience. So understanding the context to help embrace this concept of diversity to the next level. But it's still not enough. We need to do it right. Computer vision has the potential to give level of automation and human experiences in so many ways in our life that we need to understand how to do it right. The European Union is leading the way to try to understand which are the legal boundaries, what's the legal framework, how we can play with this technology in a way that is safe, that respects human rights, and provide values not only to few, but to everyone. In April 2019, this first paper was written from the high-level expert group, and it was guiding us towards how to think about AI as a trustworthy technology with 3 key pillars. Technology that needs to be lawful, robust, and ethical. From this paper, there has been a lot of other consultation, workshop, and works done from the high-level group and the European Union. And recently, just in April this year, they have released the first proposal for AI regulation. It's an amazing document to read and to understand. But at the end of the day, as practitioner, we want to know, what should we do? How can I do it right? So there is one paper which is particularly interesting because it covers 7 different principles that help us to challenge the system, question the system to understand if we are considering the problem with a broader perspective of ideas. Those are the aspects: human rights, transparency, privacy, accountability. And for each one of those principles, there are a bunch of questions that you can use to ask, to challenge the system, and to understand whether you are designing something that may have any legal implication or risk. So let's put it all together. We have explained why we are playing in computer vision and why we believe computer vision is changing, and how we are helping the scientific community to change the approach that we use to design computer vision model. But what are we doing that is unique to this field? We'll continue to source data with this diverse set of contributors all over the world. We have diverse team, we are following the regulation, but we are taking to a next level. We are experts of visual content and creative process. We believe our creative network of artists and contributors can join our AI team and work together to create computer vision which is truly inclusive. So tapping into a network of creative experts in connection with our AI team. Let me show why this is very important. I said we have 400 million images. So we did a little bit of search, and we searched for wealth. And as you can imagine, we have a lot of things, but many are kind of those images. White people on a yacht. I like that. Are we representing the whole reality? So then we searched for black wealth. And still, you can see a lot of stereotype. There is more than that. Where are those images? Then we did yet another one. This one, I like it. I'm losing it. So, youth, beauty. Beauty is represented with youth, makeup, and flowers. Really? Are we represented? Aren't we beautiful? So there is a lot that we can do together to move our stereotype towards who we are and who we want to be as a society. So join us in this journey. We can't do it together. We have a unique approach. We have a unique set of expertise, but we need the industry to come together and think how design inclusive computer vision. So now I'd like to take some question, if there is any. Thank you.